Question 3, solve the triangle. So this time we want to find two angles and a side. So I can't just subtract from 180 because we only have the one angle. So I'm just going to write out all of my law of sines. So remember, it's sine angle A over side A, sine angle B over side B, sine angle C over side C. So angle A is something we're solving for. We don't know. And across from that is side A. We don't know side A either. Okay, sine of angle B, B we don't know, but we do know the side length across is 11. And angle C is 112 and side C is 29. So remember, when we solve, we just do two at a time. So we're definitely using this. It has an angle, it has a side, it's going to help us solve one of these other ones. So I'm going to go here because that's going to give us only one variable. We're going to solve for angle B. And once we have angle B, we can subtract from 180 to get angle A. So I'm just going to rewrite these down here. And when we have a fraction equal to a fraction, I just cross multiply. So I have 29 times sine of B equals 11 times sine of 112. So I want to get B by itself. Right now, I'm just going to get rid of the 29. I'm going to divide both sides by 29. So I have sine of B equals 11 times sine of 112 over 29. And I'm not putting that in the calculator just yet because I don't want to round too early. Every time you round, your answer gets further and further away from the correct answer. So I want you to think, what have we learned about getting an angle by itself? I want to get rid of sine. What's the opposite of sine? Do you remember? It's sine inverse. So you take sine inverse of both sides. I'm going to take sine inverse of sine of B and sine inverse of this whole thing. So what happens over here on the left is sine and sine inverse, that's just 1. And that's how we get B by itself. And then this whole thing goes in the calculator, just like that. So come over here and open up your functions. And we have our trig functions and we have our inverse trig. So I have sine inverse and 11 times sine of 112. And if I hit divide right now, look, it just takes that. So I'm going to highlight this whole thing, divide by 29. And I'm going to make sure I'm in degrees. And we're rounding to the nearest tenth. So 20.6 is B. So 20.6 degrees is this one. So now angle A is easy. I take 180 minus 20.6, that's what we just found, and minus the 112 that we were already given. So 180 minus 112 minus 20.6 is 47.4. So now we have all three angles. I'm going to type those in. 47.4 degrees, we're talking about an angle. And then 20.6 degrees, we're talking about an angle. And then last thing, we want to solve for side A. So now we know this is 47.4. So now I'm going to still use the one we were given. I like the ones without decimals. And then this one. So I have sine of 47.4 over A equals sine of 112 over, I already forgot, 29. And now we're going to solve for side A. So I'm going to cross multiply A times sine 112 equals 29 times sine of 47.4. And we're going to get a by itself, so divide both sides by sine of 112. And we're done. We don't have to do an inverse because a is already by itself. So we just have to type this into the calculator and round to the nearest tenth. So you only have to do the inverse when you're solving for an angle. Angle inverse. Remember that. So 29 times sine of 47.4. That's all divided by sine of 112. So 23.0. So I'm just going to put in 23.